Good afternoon. Welcome to the June 30th, 2025 edition of the Focal News Summary on 89.5. These are the top stories making the headlines. Liberia holds talk with U.S. officials over the pending travel ban on Liberia, warning the U.S. of the country's strong diplomatic ties with the United States. President boycott to hold reburial of former Liberian President William R. Turbo, who died in the country's historic coup in the pre-war era that prompted the country's bitter past. ArcelorMittal is expected to appear before the House of Representatives Joint Committees on Investment and Concession on Tuesday, July 1, for a formal concession compliance hearing. Former Minister Dimaso Sakimenya rejects the government's arrest and detention, says it is unlawful and driven by politics. Montserrado County Senator Ibrahim Zaras Delon has openly endorsed President Joseph Boyka's stance in combating corruption and financial impropriety in public service. And away from home, two U.S. firefighters shot dead in total ambush, police say. We take this break and be back. Welcome back. Montserrado County Senator Darius Dillon has openly endorsed President Joseph Boyka's stance in combating corruption and financial impropriety in the public service. The endorsement follows President Boyka's issuance of a barrage of suspensions in a week against public officials accused of corruption. The Montserrado County Senator emphasized President Boyka's courage to break what he termed a long-term standing culture of impunity has stalled the progress of the country. The Montserrado County Senate the Montserrado County lawmaker added that the courageous stance in combating corruption coincides with the rule of law, while dismissing allegations of a witch hunt. He, however, warned that the fight against corruption should be viewed as a stark reminder to public officers to uphold the values of accountability in public service. ArcelorMittal Liberia is expected to appear before the House of Representatives Joint Committees on Investment and Concession on Tuesday, July 1, for a formal concession compliance hearing. The House of Representatives, among other things, is requesting ArcelorMittal to present a comprehensive financial report covering its operations in Liberia over the past 5 years. According to the House Bureau of Press and Public Affairs, the hearing is being organized in close collaboration with the Committees on Lands, Mines, Energy, Natural Resources, Environment, and Labor. The hearing will focus on ArcelorMittal's compliance with its Mineral Development Agreement. The House has also requested the concession company submit all relevant documents in support of its preparation before or on the day of hearing. Recently, there have been mounting public calls after the Nima County Legislative Caucus accused AML of falling short on key components of its Mineral Development Agreement. The Nima County Senator Nian Twine, who made the allegations, vowed to lead an uncompromising campaign against AML to ensure the company lives up to its Mineral Development Agreement com- and remains compliant to its social corporate responsibility. Meanwhile, Nima County District Number 7 Representative Musa Hassan Bellotte publicly backed Senator Twine's stance against ArcelorMittal and called on individuals who are members of the caucus to avoid interfering with concerns raised by the caucus, which reflect the interests of the locals and Liberia at large. Former Foreign Affairs Minister Dimaso Sakimanya has described his arrest and detention as unlawful and politically driven, accusing President Boyka's administration of targeting opposition voices. Kimenya and over a dozen of ex-officials face charges one over the alleged diversion of over 75,000 bags of Saudi donated rice meant for disaster victims, valued at over US 425,000. He insists the charges are baseless, describing them as a political witch hunt designed to damage reputation and weaken figures along with former President George Manuel Weah's government. Legal tensions rose after reports that defense lawyers were initially denied access and some accused were jailed before judicial commitment orders were formally signed by the court. The government argues the case is based on strong audit evidence on Boyka's arrest, anti-corruption agenda. If convicted, officials could face long prison sentences and asset seizures. University of Liberia Student Union Interim Leadership President Jacqueline Bleu Tengban has assured her administration will be University of Liberia Student Union Interim Leadership President Jacqueline Bleu Tengban has assured her administration will be premised on democratic pillars. President Tengban, who was newly sworn into office President Tingma, who was newly sworn into office, named unity, accountability, and advocacy as hallmarks of her leadership. She said the move will not only foster unity in diversity but also help in accelerating the strategic progress of the Union. She highlighted that her administration will collaborate with student based organizations and independent voices geared towards constructive dialogue. The student interim leader the, the student interim leadership head also vowed to institute monthly town hall meetings. Public financial reports, a move she says reflects the decision of the student community. Meanwhile, the OSU's president has emphasized the need for improved libraries resources, sanitation, and affordable tuition as part of her advocacy plans. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs over the weekend held an agreement meeting with officials of the U.S. Embassy near Monrovia. The bilateral discussion bordered on U.S. government's looming visa restrictions on several African countries, including Liberia. The meeting with Mr. Nicholas Wooden and Mr. Raymond Stevens of the U.S. Embassy is part of broader efforts by the Liberian government aimed at fostering a stronger diplomatic relationship with the U.S. government. U.S. officials expressed growing concern over multiple visa-related challenges originating from Liberia, the name overstay of non-immigrant visitors, the submission of fraudulent documentation, among others. According to Mr. Wooden, approximately 20% of Liberians granted non-immigrant visas do not return at the end of their authorized stay in the U.S. Meanwhile, the UN envoy acknowledged the proactive steps taken by the government of Liberia, highlighting the formation of the high-level presidential task force. Montserrado County District Number 10 Representative Yeke Koluba has officially launched his 2029 campaign. Marking the announcement Sunday afternoon while addressing motorcyclists in Barkleyville City, Grand Creek County, Koluba harshly criticized the Boyka administration, accusing it of completing failure to deliver meaningful reforms or improve ordinary citizens' lives despite many promises of change during the last election. He argued that President Boyka will not win a second term in 2029 and vowed to unite the opposition to block the incumbent from returning to power. Koluba promised to actively support and campaign for a fit and credible opposition candidate, emphasizing his strong commitment to achieving significant development change and new leadership in Liberia, according to him. According to him, his earlier declaration stems from President Boyka's early electoral campaign activities ahead of the 2029 elections. And away from home, two firefighters were fatally shot in a mountain community in Idaho in the northwestern U.S. while responding to a bushfire, officials say. Another firefighter was injured when a suspected opened fire with a high-powered rifle near the city of Côte d'Ivoire, according to the Cotinan Court Sheriff's Office. SWAT officers later located a deceased male nearby to where the attack took place on Canfield Mountain and lifted a shelter-in-place order. But residents were also warned that an active wildfire was still continuing on the mountain. The suspect is believed to have started the fire intentionally as a way to ambush first responders, according to Cotinan County Sheriff Robert Norris. According to the police, the dead man was found nearby a firearm after the hours-long standoff, which included shots being fired by police. Police are still awaiting official identification and say nothing is yet known about his background. They have not confirmed how the man died or what firearm was discovered. The shelter in place noticed what left at 2:50 post time, but residents were told to be prepared and ready should further actions needed to be taken. With that, we conclude the 12th May Day News presentation. But before we go, a relook of the top stories we've been following. Liberia holds talk with U.S. officials over the pending travel ban on Liberia, warning the U.S. of the country's strong diplomatic ties with the United States. President boycott the whole reburial of former Liberian President William R. Turbo, who died in the country's historic coup in the pre-war era that prompted the country's bitter past. Asila Matar is expected to appear before the House of Representatives Joint Committees on Investment and Concession on Tuesday, July 1, for a formal concession compliance hearing. Former Minister Dimaso Sakemaya rejects the government's arrest and detention, says it is unlawful and driven by politics. And Montserrado County Senator Ibrahim Zara DeLong has openly endorsed President Joseph Newman Boyka's stance in combating corruption and financial impropriety in public service, in a way from whom two U.S. firefighters shot dead in total ambush, police say. Many thanks to Maurice Peno, who sat at control on behalf of the news team, and Mohammed Vani Kane, I presented. Good afternoon.